What is up, faithful? It is your boy Niner Sickness with another Niner Sickness podcast. I got a great guest today. We're going to talk that embarrassment of a game, the Niners versus the Chiefs, and what can the Niners do to correct this? Is this correctable? Can the Niners correct it? Can the Niners turn it around like they did last year? And why in the hell do the Niners always start so damn slow? Right after this, we'll talk about it.
Roll up to the party, 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 roll up to the party.
All right, it is Tuesday afternoon. We're going to talk 49ers Chiefs game, but let me make sure to let everyone know. First and foremost, please make sure to wipe your feet before entering and smash that like button for your boy Niner Sickness. Show me some love, ladies and gentlemen. Show me some love. I got one of my moderators in here. Damian Lee, what's up, brother? Thank you for hitting that like button. Bebop Jones is in the house. What's up? I see everybody trickling in. Make sure to say hello. We got so much to talk about. So much to talk about. We got Mariah from 49er Faithful Lee in the house. What's up, girl? Welcome to the channel. There's so much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. But I'm not going to do it alone today. I decided to bring one of my old friends, one of my co-hosts from the MWA, my friend E-Man in the house. What's up, E-Man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, man. It would have been happier if we would have got that dub, or it would have been happier if we didn't get our butts kicked by a freaking Chiefs team. I understood that our chances of beating a good team like that was kind of slim. I believe we could. What I didn't see was definitely a ass kicking that we received. I mean, we got out coached. We got outplayed. Players were not playing well. We can blame everybody in this, in my opinion. I don't think it was just Jimmy G or Kyle Shanahan. I think everybody. Maybe the Niners brought back the big silverback too soon. Maybe he shouldn't have came back because he kind of had some mass plays. Freaking Mike McClinchy seems like he's always in the 70s on skates. All they got to do is play music in the background for him because he's always getting pushed back towards the quarterback. I don't know, Eric. I want to get your thoughts before we go any further. I want to get your thoughts. In a nutshell of this game, what did you think, man?
First and foremost, I mean, of the first part of the game, we'll just say the first half of the game, totally different 49er football team than what we've seen in the third and fourth quarter. We've seen the execution, keeping drives alive on the offense. I was really confused with that first drive, though. Like, just to kind of break it down, we were running the ball really well, and then we come back and we throw the ball 3 straight times. Like that to me, that kind of said, all right, well, it's almost like I expected that field goal after seeing those passes on that first drive. And then the way that our defense played and got the pressure to Mahomes and got the pick early on, it just seemed like a great tempo game. Like we were just going to actually be able to play our style of football, being able to run the ball and keep Mahomes off the field. Well, it seems like we didn't really have that in plan. We wanted to come out and use our new asset to try to, like when you get a new toy, you obviously want to play with it. And what McCaffrey really does open up. You have to account not just for the run, but the the pass. There's so much going on with the offense. Like, not only do we have motion now, we have double fakes to McCaffrey, Debo. I mean, and seeing McCall Hardman do the end arounds for the touchdowns, that's the kind of stuff I expected from the 49ers and being able to do in this game. And Debo was obviously not healthy running the ball. Like, it totally different Debo running. And no surprise that he's dealing with a hamstring injury. So that could possibly explain that. But yeah, I just totally expected us to get after this Kansas City defense and really just run it down their throats, and it just totally didn't go the way that I expected.
Yeah, I don't understand the situation. I know we have a great defense, and I understand that injuries take into play, but we got a lot of our players back. We got Bosa back. We got Jimmy Ward back, even with one hand, but we got him back. Hufanga came back. But it seemed like the 49ers just can't get off the field on third downs. The third downs this year has been terrible. How do you give up a 3rd and 20? And then later on, you give up a 3rd and 15 to McKinnon out of all players. And next 49er, they couldn't do nothing with us. He goes to the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid, and suddenly he's a freaking playmaker. But I want to ask you, what do the Niners defense need to do? What does DeMeco Ryans need to change to prevent these third down conversions? What do we got to do to stop these third downs and get off the field?
Stop the penalties. That's the first thing we have to clean up is all these penalties. There was back-to-back plays where Bosa was offsides. You had a 3rd and 1 where we were offsides, gave them the first down. We're just making it too easy on them. And then as far as the it just seemed like after getting the third downs conversions and stuff like that, now we're back at it again, 1st and 10. It's like, oh man, like we did everything we could to get to the third down and now we got to start over again. And we just didn't have an answer for all the speed that they had around the edge. They set up the tempo on the outside, then come right back in the middle to Kelsey. Like, even 2 people covering Kelsey, it just wasn't enough. He was just manhandling people. And like, as far as some of the pass breaks down on like the 3rd and 20 and everything else, like you had Mooney Ward lined up on the outside, no help over the top whatsoever. I think I want to say that was a 3rd and 6 bomb, just setting up for everything. Like, that Patrick Mahomes has the ability to tear a defense apart, especially in his zone coverage. And we weren't getting the pressure that we needed, but we also wasn't playing enough back in coverage to be able to accommodate, to leverage some of these guys. I would much rather make them beat us with Valdez Scantling or something like that than give Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. I mean, not Tyreek Hill. Juju Smith-Schuster the free catches. I mean, but yeah, it seemed like their MVP was definitely McCall Hardman.
It sure was, man. I mean, what he was able to do against us was, man, it's just overall, man. And to one of our my moderators, Damien, mentioned about he's frustrated and he's ready to give up on Jimmy G. I understand the turnovers. I understand. The penalties. We got to correct that. I mean, 10 penalties, especially on crucial situations where we got first downs and we're taking back. That has to stop. I mean, if number 69 wasn't being pushed back, he was too busy causing penalties, holding, and so forth. I mean, he just got beat all day. But Jimmy, listen? We got a blessing in that muff fumble, and when we kicked the ball away. Okay, we got it, and we were able to get out within our red zone. We converted it. We got it. We're like, you know what? Let's punch it in. At the very least, we can get at least a field goal, right? But no, not when you have Jimmy G as a quarterback. There's no guarantee that you're going to at least get a field goal because you know that Jimmy G, when the pressure comes down the middle and he feels that pressure, he becomes a little girl and throws the ball to the opposing team. And that's so irritating, especially when you had Jeff Wilson Jr. wide open. But he doesn't look because he's so panicky.
Kyle Shanahan had the right play call for that, by the way. It was a great play. Jimmy, when he anticipated it was a zero cover blitz. Like, I mean, they just sent the whole house, and the right call for that is a quick screen. And Jeff Wilson was that. It should have been the initial read, and instead of it being an initial read, Jimmy does something that he's known to do: hold on to the ball and try to look for something else. And you look at this time and time again in this game, where he's taking unnecessary sacks, and like I've seen at least three sacks. I know one by Chris Jones, where we were setting up to get in a field goal range, and he had Kittle wide open, but I don't know what he's doing. And then right there in the middle, his pocket, he felt like his pocket was collapsing, and he just runs right into the arms of the guy. Like, I don't know what our offensive line can do to justify that, but I know that you're going to see a different Jimmy Garoppolo against the Rams, because I don't know what it is, but the ball comes out quicker against the Rams. Just go back and look at how Jimmy plays against the Rams. He really plays like he's playing totally different against the Rams as far as snap to throw ratio and his decision making. Like, I think Kyle has really simplified it for him to where, look, you got one of two reads, and he's missing. But when he's on, he's on. Like, there's some drives where I'm like, yeah, he's connecting real good with Ayuk and Kittle, and he had one throw to Debo that was really a better play for Debo than it was for him. And then you come back and you throw the ball down on the ground, not giving our guys a chance,
Yeah.
And then a sack and a penalty and gets us out of field goal range.
Yeah, it's just, you know what? I can care less what Jimmy does well anymore. I can care less if Jimmy can get the ball to Ayuk or if he has a quick release. The guy, for being an 8-year veteran, just makes too many freaking mistakes. He panics. He doesn't make his reads. He's always looking at his first read. He doesn't go through his progressions. And it's like, I don't understand how can a vet type of quarterback like this play so awful. I keep hearing the theme is we win games with Jimmy. We win games. And that's so tiring. I'm so sick and tired of hearing that we win games. We don't win games because of Jimmy. We win games with Jimmy. The defense played like crap on Sunday. They were like crap. DeMeco Ryans had probably one of his worst defensive coordinator job in that game. And yet, Jimmy couldn't bail him out. Kyle Shanahan, to me, I think is a great play caller, but not a good head coach. I think he's overrated as a coach. I'm tired of hearing what genius of a coach he is, how good he is. The first 2 years don't count because we had to reestablish this team. But how many winning seasons do we have? One? And before you answer, if people say, wow, he took us to an NFC championship game twice, is that what we settle for? Is that what the Niners' new standard is? Is an NFC championship or bust? I thought it was Super Bowl or bust. And another thing, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, E-Man, but another thing, where are the leaders on this team? Where are the Joe Staleys? Where's the Richard Shermans on this team? There's no leadership. There's no players that take accountability for the crap that is going on. I'm starting to hear a little bit with George Kittle, but where's the leadership? So I want to ask you, do you see leadership on this roster?
Uh, more so I do on the defensive side than I do on the offensive side. I think that Fred Warner's more been more the heart and soul of the defense as far as the leadership goes. Offensive wise, it's I don't think that our off. I mean, you look at what Brandon Ayuk said about our team with the amount of talent we had and only being able to put up 23 points. That really shows a lot of that don't really show a lot of confidence, and that really rolls back to the quarterback play. Like I don't care what the rest of the team did, this quarterback commands the team, and with the weapons we have, there's no reason that our team shouldn't be able to go out and do what Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs did with the offense without a good running game. We have all the elements and all the makings of a great football team. But, some of these teams have to sacrifice either having a good offense or a good defense and be stronger at one point. But I feel like this team overall has a lot of strengths to it that some teams wishes they could really grasp. We were hoping that we would get that chance with Trey Lance at the quarterback position because he just brings that different element that Jimmy can't even provide.
Yeah, I hear you, man. A lot of people say that we have a Super Bowl roster team, and I don't know if the Niners are buying into their own Kool-Aid, what they're hearing. A Super Bowl team, a Super Bowl roster. It looks like right now the 49ers are frauds. Who have they beaten? Let's be honest. Seattle, which is not the same Seattle that is playing right now. Okay. We beaten the Rams, who are atrocious at the offensive line. Okay. And then we beat Carolina. I understand Carolina just beat Tampa Bay, but that's more about Tampa Bay than Carolina, if you ask me. But look at the teams we lost. We lost to Atlanta, who got their ass kicked by Cincinnati. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this team is fraud. I don't think this is a Super Bowl caliber team. Yes, we have exceptional players. We have George Kittle. We have a CMC now. We have Debo, and we have a Ayuk. And on defense, we have a lot of playmakers, but we can't put it together. And I don't care what people say. You can have all the playmakers in the world. If you don't have the key spot, which is quarterback, nothing else works. You need the quarter. Listen, you saw a team in Kansas City, Eric, that has a great coach and a great quarterback. And you saw how they operated offensively. They're able to operate smooth. Why? Because you have a coach that can develop plays and you have a quarterback that can execute in Mahomes. I don't want to blame too much Kyle because I think Kyle is truly limited with what he can do with Jimmy. I want to see Kyle with Trey Lance for a full year to truly evaluate Kyle. But I don't know, Eric. What's going on with this team? Are we frauds? Or
I don't think we're
what
frauds.
is
it? Just the same issues that we've dealt with it since I want to say for the longest of times. Seems like we just are often the most injured team in the NFL. None of our players can stay healthy. We looked at this roster before the season started. We're like, oh man, we got so much depth here and there, and it's like, what good does that depth do when even the players in the depth pieces are getting hurt? Like, what is going on that all of our players are battling injury? Like, we shouldn't be getting injured as much as we are. You look at that secondary, like coming into this season, the way the secondary was built, and it's like, man, who's going to be able to top the secondary? And then you look at it the first couple of games, and you're like, man, like one of the number one defense in the league, getting the amount of pressures. 49ers are there in sacks. We're going on for a historic season. Then we lose a piece. Okay, well, and then we lose another piece. Then it just starts coming back to reality. It's like, okay, well, no, of course not. You're not going to be as effective when you don't have somebody like Nick Bosa on one side and you using Sebs Edgecombe or Charles Omenihu. He's not the caliber player that Nick Bosa is. Nick Bosa brings a different element to the game.
Yeah.
And then you know, the
He
only
had
two
his
players
mistakes
on
on
our
Sunday
team.
too.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, that's what they schemed to do is to try to take out our pass rush out of the game, and they did it really well. I mean, there was a couple of plays where Bosa was just looking stupid on the play because he was just it just was schemed up that way, like where they didn't even have to block. The type of blocking that came around the edge was just mismatched. You had 5-on-3, 4-on-3, those if you looked at those end arounds, it looked a lot like the 49ers zone runs where he's not even touched and it's just unfair.
Yeah, yeah. I want to just bring a comment from Jose, who's coming at us from the Facebook page. Defense gives up too many big plays. That's our problem. Too many third down and longs on Sunday. They gave up. And he makes a good point. We've been touching on this. It's like for having all these big time players. I mean, I don't know what you saw, but I saw Fred Warner getting beat by Travis Kelce more than once in that game. When Greenlaw went out, that didn't help as he went out with an injury. I mean, it's like, and then what's the name? Jimmy Ward, when he gave up that touchdown, it's like he was like 3 steps behind. So it's like, man, is it personnel? Is it coaching? Is it a little bit of both? Is it just frustration? I mean, last year, a lot of us were talking a 3-4, a 3-5 team. And then we were able to somehow make it to the playoffs and make it all the way to the NFC Championship. But you can't start this slow every damn year and expect to make it to the playoffs. The NFC East, believe it or not, are freaking, even if they may be imposters at this point, but they're still, Eagles are 6-0, Giants are 6-1. The other team is what? Dallas is 5-2. Do the Niners need to win the division, Eric, in your opinion, to even smell the playoffs?
I'm gonna say no. I don't think we need to win the division, but it would help. Definitely be great to. And I don't think it's going to take much to win this division. I think, even though we're having our struggles, I think these teams have actually gotten worse. Rams losing pieces and not moving the ball as effective as they were. Cardinals did get D-Hop back, but they're still the same team. In fact, I mean, well, I say the same team, but you lose a piece like Chandler Jones. That defense, don't get me wrong, the defense looked great against New Orleans.
But it's more of New Orleans being bad.
That's more of New Orleans being bad than the Arizona defense being good.
Exactly.
The only team that really poised to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks.
And who would have thought that, right? With Geno Smith, the best quarterback right now in the West.
Yeah, I mean, look at what they have, though. I mean, they're running the ball efficiently. They
have a damn good coach.
I mean, he's getting them there, and we have the Rams and the Chargers, and then it looks like our schedule does get a little easier, and it's not hard to say that maybe a 9-8 record could get us in the playoffs. Do I expect like with Minnesota and Green Bay? I think the AFC North is probably one of those divisions where only one of those teams get in, and then the East is really strong. But I do kind of expect that to come back to reality a little bit.
Yeah,
I think that the Cowboys are probably going to give Philly a better matchup in their next matchup, having Dak back. But that's a good defense there. Like what they've been doing too.
Well, it helps that Green Bay's been like trash, man. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers does not trust his receivers. The checkdowns to his running back are very evident that he doesn't trust his receivers. So I'm glad the Packers seem to be out of it. And you're right. I think that the NFC East, The Giants is not as good as people think they are. Eagles definitely are okay, but the good thing about the Eagles is they have an easy schedule. They ain't playing nobody they can even threaten to beat them this year. So we might have to go through Philly to get to where we need to get to. But let me ask you, from your opinion, Eric, what do the Niners need to do to bounce back against the Rams? Other than just beat them, of course, but what do we need to do to kind of get this train back on the right track and start building some W's? Because let's be honest, if we beat the Rams, we go into the bye, get a rest, 4-4, not great, but not bad, doable, I guess. We come out of the bye, the Chargers are playing like crap. They're losing players like flies. You think we're bad with injuries? They're terrible. They're beatable, and then we play the Cardinals, and then the Saints. So, what do the Niners need to do, in your opinion, to get back on track starting this Sunday against the Rams?
Well, first and foremost, big key to our offense is going to be out. Kyle Juszczyk is going to be out for that game.
Yes, good point.
But that should not stop our ability to run the ball. Great. Build up great tempo between CMC and Jeff Wilson. Run the ball effectively. Get the ball out quickly. What I'd like to see less of is these little dump off screen passes on the corners. Like, it seemed like that wasn't working for us at all. And I really love that we got Kittle involved in this last game. So that's really one of the elements. But it just seems like when we get Kittle involved, then Debo disappears, or we can't get consistent. We can't get. It's the
same player under a different uniform, bro. It seems like that.
Yeah, he just changed jerseys with Kittle and just went out there and played. Like, Debo didn't have that effective game that I expected him to have. In fact, our best receiver this year has been Brandon Ayuk. Yeah. He's our leading receiver. He's been targeted less and has a lot more to show for it. Like, he's been helping us move the ball.
Yeah. And, I know that CMC just came to us. I know we couldn't do much with him against the Chiefs. The little bit that we saw, I just want to highlight that I took a lot of positives, what I saw in CMC. Imagine once he starts getting the playbook down, he starts that one of the things we've been missing is the outside zone read. We haven't had that. We can get that now. So I expect Kyle Shanahan to really use CMC on the outside and then use Jeff Wilson Jr. inside through the tackles. And hopefully we get to the bye, we beat the Rams, we get to the bye, and then we should get Elijah Mitchell back. Once we get Elijah Mitchell back, we should be able to get this moving. But I don't know, man. I just don't know what to say about this team. They got to get their thing together. The good thing is Kyle Shanahan does have McVay's number. He does outcoach McVay. He knows how to coach against McVay. The Rams, even though they're coming off a bye, the bye is not going to help them recover a lot of those injury players. They lost their best left tackle to retirement. That backup, they were supposed to be semi-good. He's hurt. They lost their center. The only people they can throw to is Kupp or their tight end. Their run game doesn't exist. I don't care what Rams say. They wanted CMC. They got butthurt when the Niners beat them for CMC because they honestly needed him more than we did. Now he's going to be great for us, but the Rams needed him and they're butthurt. But we beat the Rams, Eric. We're 4-4, going to the bye, get some more rest, get the players more healthier. We started to get our players back. I heard that Eric Armstead might be back. Hopefully that's true. We beat the Chargers, then we beat the Arizona, then we start getting back in track. Let me ask you, what position on defense needs to step up in your opinion, and what position on offense needs to step up in this game against the Rams for us to be effective and get that W?
It's kind of tough to say, man. Honestly, I can't really pinpoint a position, but it just seems widespread. Like everybody's got to play better. I'm really wondering if Jimmy Ward being out there with one arm is being a liability more than helping. Um, I've seen times where Gibson wasn't that great. Yeah, he did make a good play early on that helped Hufanga get a interception, but there was times where even he was a liability. And then we lost Diamador Lenore. He got hurt, and Hufanga went into he went in, to the tent for a little while. We had Travarius Moore out there playing. And then we lost Greenlaw, and then Flanagan Fowles was out there. It's like you can't match up. I don't care if we got Bobby Wagner in his prime. You can't match up a linebacker like that against Travis Kelce. And then give him half help with Jimmy Ward. Like, that's not going to compensate for that.
Yeah, we don't want Tom Brady. And that's true, E-Man. You can't even hide it. But the text I'm talking about. But Jimmy DeLeon. Yeah, right? That's what I thought. Because I know him too well. Trade Jimmy G plus picks for Tom Brady. Come on, Jimmy. Tom Brady. Did you see Tom Brady perform against the Carolina Panthers? Tom Brady's done. Tom Brady is not the same Tom Brady. He should have stayed married. In my opinion, man, to Giselle. You know what I mean? He lost his mojo. He lost his wife, lost his mojo. Now, we don't need Tom Brady. I have to respectfully disagree. I am not trading picks in Jimmy for Tom Brady. Well, I'll trade Jimmy for a bag of popcorn, but I'm not giving picks for Tom Brady. No way, no how. We want to go forward, not backwards. We don't want to be like the Lakers in 2021 when you bring all these retirement type of players. They can, that were great at one time, but can't do nothing today. But I don't know, Eric. I know I seem a little, down on my team, rightfully so as a fan. You expect to see great things from your team. The beautiful thing about football is that you can express your opinion on how you feel. It doesn't mean you're right in your feelings. It doesn't mean you're right or wrong. It doesn't mean that this or that. It just means that we have the platform to express how we feel about our team. When our team is doing great, you give them props. You acknowledge it. But when they're playing like crap, there have to be accountability. Players have to be accountable. Coaches have to be accountable. And I keep hearing excuses about this or that. But the performance on Sunday, tell me, if I asked you to give me one excuse on why we lost so bad, besides penalties, what would you tell me, Eric?
They're a better football team than we are right now.
That's evident.
They scored more points than we did.
Yeah, they can score more points.
Take it with a grain of salt. This game, yeah, we got our ass kicked by Kansas City, but in the end, this game really don't mean shit. It really doesn't.
They all mean. But I know where you're coming from.
We won't have to see Kansas City again unless we play them in the Super Bowl, if we get to the Super Bowl. Ultimately, from here on out, our focus should be winning the division and then worrying about the teams ahead of us and those kind of teams. I like where we at, like as far as with the NFC. Like the NFC is not looking great at all. Besides the East, of course, but are they really that good? We'll see. They've been such a bad division for so long that they got the luxury of having such a weak schedule, and they've been able to really pile on some wins. As far as us, we're about to have a part of our schedule where I feel it's very winnable, and we just have to ride it on into the playoffs. The other thing is the whole comments about Brady would do this and that because of the weapons. Brady has weapons in Tampa,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
has Mike Evans. He has Chris Godwin. Look at the weapons that they have on their offense, and only putting up 3 points against Carolina. That doesn't say a lot.
Even we put more points than they did.
Yeah,
with Jimmy.
I think there's a lot more issues there, but as far as our focus, I think that we have to get back to what works. Even with all these weapons on our offense, our running game is what works for us. Our run game to set up the pass. We can't. And then, when we get Trey Lance back next season, then that's a different story because he can really alleviate things with his arm and his athletic ability. Some things that Garoppolo doesn't have that he wishes he had. Like, how would you like to be back there and run an RPO and be able to run pass option? And people will probably knock me and say, well, that's how he got hurt in the first place. No, that's 1 in 1 million chance that happens. Like, it's a part of the game. And
yes, sir.
Yeah, I really don't think that that's the case for us. I think the case here, there is no trade for another player. We ride it out. We hope that Jimmy Garoppolo has a great season. We have a great season, and we send him packing and let him find a new team, and we get compensated pretty well for that if we don't achieve anything else. And hopefully, if we win the Super Bowl, there's not really much to achieve at that point. Just stay healthy and win another one.
Exactly. I understand when your team is not winning, Eric, when you're not getting the performance that you want from Jimmy G, the first reaction is to kind of look at players, especially the quarterbacks that have been successful, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers. We've seen them play very good football. And people have that tendency of, well, we should go after Tom Brady. We should go after Aaron Rodgers. But at this point, with this offense and the way Kyle runs things, believe it or not, Jimmy can do better than what Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers can do right now for this team. Aaron Rodgers, I might even lean a little bit. I might take it back a little bit from Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers can be more helpful on this team than Tom Brady can, personally. But we don't need those type of quarterbacks. We have to give up too much when we have a young kid and Trey Lance that we haven't seen what he can do. This was supposed to be the year that we were going to get a good idea of who Trey Lance is, and unfortunately was cut short week 2 to injury. And you're right, Eric. To blame Kyle for that injury is ridiculous. When you can't, when the best skill set for Trey Lance at the time was his mobility, because he's trying to work on his throws, you got to use that. You got to take that to your advantage to win games. So people are like, well, they shouldn't run him as much. They only ran him twice when he got hurt. I don't know about you, but that don't seem like a lot to me. It was just, like you said, it was a fluke of an injury that it happens in football. It's easy to blame when things don't go your way or the way you want it. But look at Josh Allen. They're always running him like that. He just got, and I hope he doesn't get hurt because we want to watch that type of play in the NFL. But I think Trey Lance will come back next year. We have CMC with a full rest of the year under his belt, a whole offseason. We have Debo. We still have we still have a lot of playmakers. I think this team will be completely different with Trey Lance. So bringing Aaron Rodgers or bringing Tom Brady and giving more drafts that we already don't have for a 1-year rental, I don't think we need it. I think we can manage by with Jimmy.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't want a 45-year-old quarterback playing quarterback.
Especially when you have to give up a lot to get him. Nope.
Just kind of brings back those times like saying the quarterback's one hit away from his career being over. It's truly thoughtful at that point, especially with Rodgers' career with collarbones and stuff like that. Like, no, I don't think he could take a hit like that with our team. We wouldn't. Plus, I think we're built for the long haul and better than any of these other teams are, anyways. Um, we just got to see how. And I don't know what it is about not playing the Young Bucks as much, but we really just have to invest and see what we really have at our young guys as far as this team goes. We have really young corners that we went out and drafted, hoping to get honestly, I don't even know if I even heard Ambry Thomas in this game at all. I've seen Lenore, I've seen Samuel Womack. Like, I don't. There's certain players. Yeah, I've seen Todd Davis Price even get out there and actually play a little bit. But why keep players like, say, we kept Jordan Mason on the roster? Why continue to have these players if we're not going to use them and just use them on special teams? Danny Gray, another one we drafted. Every time it seems like we target him, it's always a deep pass. Why not? I mean, if you look at what his thing was in college, he was good. Yes, he was good at separation, but he was also used intermediately as well. Like, teams have gotten onto the hint that we want to go deep when he's in the game, and they need to move along from that.
Exactly. I just want to answer a question from Jimmy hitting us up from Facebook. He's like, Brady just needs to change a scenery, and my Niners need a quarterback. Tom Brady needs a change of diapers every time he shits on himself, every time he gets sacked, being 45 years old. Yeah, I hear you, Jimmy. I understand. If you're frustrated with Jimmy G, I'm with you 100%. Be pissed off at Jimmy. Jimmy sucks. He's not a good quarterback. I am with you. But bringing Brady, it's just a 45-year-old, like Eric said, at what cost? I mean, if I had to choose for a 1-year rental between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, I would take Aaron Rodgers in a heartbeat. But even then, I wouldn't take him. It's at this point, you just got to ride the waves with freaking interception Jimmy and just hope he doesn't throw interceptions. But we're starting to get a core of our players back. After this bye, I'm telling you, let's just beat the Rams on Sunday, which is easier said than done. Beat the Rams. Do you know that by beating the Rams, we will be 3-0 in the division? Do you know the last time we were 3-0 in the division? What year?
It's been a while.
Since 2011.
Yeah.
And my good friend John Chaplin revealed that. So I know I didn't know either, but I saw it on John Chaplin, so I want to give him credit for that. But 2011 was the last time we were 3-0. You got to win your division. You got to win your division, folks. Beat them first and foremost. Then take care of the rest. You beat the Rams. You're 4-4 going into the bye. You start recovering a little bit. You come out of the gate. You host the Chargers at home. Chargers not a good team right now. You beat the Chargers, and then you start heading in the right direction. I'm telling you, I would love to see what CMC and Elijah Mitchell can do together. And you sprinkle in Jeff Wilson Jr. Can you imagine the possibilities of a healthy Elijah Mitchell and CMC with Debo, Ayuk? How much we can open up? Because I'm telling you, CMC, once he gets the playbook done, once he gets really comfortable, it's going to open up the playbook for Kyle Shanahan to do more, especially if he can send him on the outside and be successful. We're going to be able to run the ball to set up the pass like we did in 2019 with Raheem Mostert. And CMC is way better than Raheem Mostert. So, Niner faithful, I know we're upset. I know that the frustration of losing and getting our ass kicked on national TV is embarrassing. But beat the Rams, recover, get healthier, come out, and handle your business, I don't see why we can't make the playoffs if we just continue to get healthier. But on that note of being healthy, let me ask you, Eric, why is it? It seems, it's probably not, but it seems to us because we're Niner faithful. It seems like the Niners are the most plagued team in the NFL when it comes to injuries. It's not the strength and conditioning coach because we fired them and hired new ones. Same results. Is it their diet? Is it their love life? What is it? They don't walk the dog late and out late long enough. I mean, what is it? Is it because Eddie DeBarro trusted his sister and got cheated on with the team? What's the thing hoovering over us with these injuries? Can you pinpoint to it?
I think it's just the physicality of this team. This football team is a very physical football team. So, with that type of physicality, you're gonna get some injuries. Unfortunately.
Yeah, people said, it's practice. Somebody, I forgot who it was. I think it was Tart, who came on one of my guys that I know as a content creators on his podcast and spoke on how it's the practices. But back in the day, they had 2-a-day practices. They had 2 practice, one in the morning and one in the evening. And players were not getting hurt as much. And quarterbacks back then were getting killed back then, and there were no flags. Do you think that the type of players have changed from back then to now? It seems like they're more built, stronger in the sense of muscle. They don't have any fat to them. They can't absorb hits as well as they did in the old days. Why is it that we only have one practice and we're back in the 80s and 90s, we had 2 type of practices every day and there was less injured players?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things to take a look at. I mean, the type of gear that they wore back in the day is obviously a lot different. A lot more geared to protection. A lot of the rule changes that they've come out with have accelerated the game. It used to be unheard of that you would have 4,000 and 5,000 yard passers in the league, and now it's become shifted to the offense being able to throw the ball a lot more because all you got to do is slap somebody and you get a first down for PI, or there's no just go out there and let them play. I was watching. I'm trying to think what game it was, but I swear it was maybe the Dolphins and the Steelers game. I was sitting there watching it. I swear every time they would go out to throw a pass, it just seemed like there was a penalty everywhere. And it's like, okay, so it's going to be this kind of game where it's just an overly aggressive, penalized game where you won't even let the players go out and play. I think the refs have gotten a little bit more involved in the game. And like we had a couple of weeks where the quarterback couldn't even be sacked because Tua had a concussion. Like, it's just, and then now that's all they talk about is, protecting the quarterback. Just, I haven't seen much of that as far as since the first couple of weeks, but I just wish the league was different. Like, I wish it was back to the hard running backs and the 2,000 yard rushers and stuff like that. Now it's just more to, let's see which quarterback can go out there and throw the ball the furthest and which receiver can go out and get the most yards and touchdowns. It's just a totally different type of. Just imagine if Marino did what he did with 5,000 yards in the 80s, what he would do in this league. He would probably throw for 7,000, 8,000 yards. Yeah,
exactly. I just want to answer a quick question, Mariah. Yeah, she's one of the content creators that we have, 49 content creators. If you haven't checked out her show, check it out. It's Mariah and TL. They both host the 49er Faithfully podcast on YouTube. I use Ecamm. Unfortunately, Ecamm is only for Apple users only. What I love about Ecamm as the interface to go live is you're not held back to the templates that StreamYard offers. StreamYard, you got to use their templates. With Ecamm, you pretty much can do whatever you want. You can move. I can move. I can move Eric if I wanted to move Eric around. As my guest. Let me. Oops, that's not it. Hold on. Where are you, Eric? There you are. If I wanted to move Eric around, I can move him around. I can turn him upside down. I can bring him in closer. Zoom in. Like if he's too far away and I wanted to zoom in, I would just bring him up, bring him back out. So there's so much you can do with Ecamm, Mariah. So if you get the chance to get an Apple computer, Ecamm's the way you go up. But unfortunately, they only go with Apple, not PC. But I just love the ability to do whatever I want on my own and not being held to a template like StreamYard or any other programs that allows you to go live. But I just wanted to answer that question for Mariah. I like her show, her and TL, man. Listen, if you want to hear nothing but the truth about the 49ers, non-biased, check out their show. If you're sensitive, if you wear your emotions on your sleeve, don't check it out because they'll tell you the way it is. And that's what I love about their show. So, E-Man, when you get a chance, check it out. E-Man, I haven't talked to you in a while in a sense of coming on here on with me. We talk, obviously, in the chat or text each other or call each other. But I'm happy that you're set up with your equipment and your Rodecaster Pro and your headset. By the way, those headsets look very familiar, but they look good on you. The microphone, and most of all, is the internet speed that you have now, bro. So I know you work a busy schedule. I know you work 6 days a week. You're a hardworking man, but we definitely got to do this more often, bro. We got to come on here, talk 49er football. And I tell this to all my guests. I may not always agree with everything my guests say, but I respect what they say because it's their opinion. Everybody, to me, and I feel strongly about this, Eric. Everybody should be able to express how they feel about their team, whether they're right or wrong, whether they can defend or back up what they're saying or how they're feeling. It's their right. You know what I mean? And here on the Niner Sickness, my guests have the opportunity to, I have a friend of mine that we both know, Eric, that likes to say that I like to use pom-poms. I'm a big pom-pom guy. Rah-rah. I am. I love the pom-poms. I'm a very emotional individual when it comes to my team. When my team is winning, I'm with a big pom-pom. I'm excited. But when they lose, I'm upset and I'm going to blame. Whether the blame is rightfully deserved or not, I want to fire Kyle. I really don't. But I'm going to say it anyway because it feels good. We need to, we need to do this or that. I don't really mean it, but I just want to express how I feel because I'm pissed. And I don't want to be politically correct or, well, I'm not going to say fire Kyle because that's not the right thing to say. Screw that. Fire his ass. If he, you know what I mean? Because of the performance. But then I calm down. I drink my milk and cookies. And then I realize, all right, big boy, relax. Let's not fire Kyle, but he better do things differently. And I say that to all my guests, bros, and I want you to express yourself. So I said all that to say this. Right now, bro, what is one thing that is pissing you off about this team? Don't hold back. Don't think too hard. Don't worry what people think. What is one thing that pisses Eric Davis off, E-Man, about this team right now?
Just how much better I really think this team is and where we're at. Like, like the field goals, getting our ass kicked by Atlanta really didn't. It's like, yeah, it's the Falcons, whatever, but they completely, like, that ass whooping from Atlanta was far worse than losing to Kansas City. Because
at least you expect it from Kansas City, right?
I expected Kansas City to give us a good game. I expected us to do our job and handle up on the Falcons, regardless of what our personnel looked like. There is no reason that they should have been able to do what they did against us, and
And
as
they
effectively as
dominated
they
us.
did. Yeah, we couldn't get stops against them. Oh, guess what? We couldn't do against Kansas City. We couldn't
Yeah.
get stops against Kansas City. We, in the term of getting off the field, we have to get better at that. And lucky for us, we're going against a team that's very one dimensional and not very good at running the football. And we pretty much have a plan. I mean, we're just be real. We're not going to shut down Cooper Cup.
No.
It's not going to happen. But
if you can contain them, not shut them down, but slow them down, that's all you can ask.
If it's 3rd and 10, give them 9 yards. Okay, that's a stop.
Yep.
I don't give a damn what his stat sheet looks like. We made a stop.
Yep.
And that's what we got to do. And then not give them the free first downs by, let me just be offsides. Let me do something stupid and keep our team on the field a lot longer. But yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what's going on with the pressure, but like the amount of pressure we were getting in the first half in the Kansas City game was totally different than the second half. Even with the players we have, I mean, we can't continue to use these excuses. Like, we've had time to build this roster to where we want, and regardless if one piece is missing or 2 pieces is missing, we still have the makings of a good roster, and there's no way that you can tell me that team is better even with our backups. Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that pisses me off is the red zone. We can move the ball within the 20s, but we can't do crap in the red zone. We can't convert. When you're playing against Kansas City, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and you're trading their touchdowns for field goals for us. Credit to Robbie Gould for being great and kicking very well. But you can't be trading freaking field goals for touchdowns, particularly against a team like the Chiefs. And you just can't do that, man. And then I don't know about you, but I think Charvarius Ward wasn't ready to come back. I think they kind of rushed him, but he was. But then I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses, because I am. But if you're going to be on the field, then we expect you to produce, right? If you're on the field. What happened when he got burnt? I mean, he looked over and he's like, "Oh crap!"
Like I said, that play, like you're lined up against a speedster 1-on-1, and you have no help over the top. Like, it's gonna happen to even the best players. Yeah, he got burned on one play. Okay, what about the breakdowns and coverages where you have our linebacker and our corner covering the same guy?
Yeah,
he's wide open in the middle. Like,
you saw that?
Happened.
Yeah,
like they're sitting there trying to double Kelsey because it's like, okay, yeah, let me accommodate for Kelsey. Oh shit, what about the receiver?
Yeah, there's more than one person playing on this team.
Yeah, and then when you're trying to accommodate for all that, then you go misdirection and go around the corner for a touchdown.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's not even touch on the fact that Patrick Mahomes is also an athletic runner as well, so he can take off with the ball at any time. So
there's so many things that just went wrong in that game. But you know what? I believe in Kyle still. I think Kyle. I mean, we lost 2 games consecutively. We've done that in the past as well. I think Kyle's going to sit back, go deep into his bag, and just take it out on the Rams. I mean, I feel bad for the Rams because the Niners were embarrassed, and they don't want to be embarrassed like that again, and they shouldn't be. And they're just, in my opinion, going to take it against the Rams and kick the Rams' butt. So I want to ask you, before I let you go, before we end the show, because we're coming to an hour, what is your score prediction? I know it's still early. I know it's only Tuesday, but it's not like we're going to do another live before the game. So I ask you, what is your score prediction? Do you see the Niners beating the Rams? Or do you see the Niners beating the Rams?
That's a tough feat, man. Honestly, I don't... it's going to be close. Maybe field goal close. I'd say like 24-20, 20. And honestly, it's hard for me. I mean, the way our defense is playing, I think the Rams might get us this time, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if we split, but I wouldn't be disappointed either. I mean, we still got a lot of football ahead of us, and we got. I said before, I think we're gonna get to like 10-7. That's right where I had us at 10-7, just like we were last year. Do I think this football team's better than last year's team? Yeah, I do think so. I think it's built for the long haul. I think that we'll get these pieces back and we'll really just start to dominate. Just got to get back to what works for us and not stray away from that. You go down the field running for 40 yards on somebody, then I'm gonna do it old school, Marty Schottenheimer. I am going to run down your throat until you stop me.
Yep. I agree. Listen, D'Amico Ryans got really embarrassed, got outcoached in this game. D'Amico Ryans is a young, brilliant guy. He's not going to get outcoached again, especially against the Rams. I expect a good game from D'Amico and the personnel on Sunday. I expect a 30-17 win over the Rams. I think the Niners are going to score. They're going to score on this team. They're going to not stop Kupp. You can't. He's too good of a receiver to stop him, but they will contain him enough and slow him down so that he's not that effective. And even if they move the ball down the field, if they have to kick field goals instead of touchdowns, like week 4, that's a win. I really think the Niners are going to come in this game and really take their aggression on the Rams. And the Niners are a better team. They are. They just got to put it together. We know that Kyle Shanahan, whether you like him or not, whether you think he should be fired, whether you think he's overrated or underrated, whatever it is, one thing we do know, he can outcoach McVay. And people say, yeah, but not at the NFC. Who cares? One game in the NFC Championship, we lost by 3 points. Give me a break. We beat him 7 times in the regular season. Kyle can outcoach McVay. I expect to make it 8 in a row. We're going to sweep. So get ready, guys. Bring out your brooms on Sunday. Get your brooms ready because we're going to sweep the Rams. We're going to go 3-0, and then we'll take it one game at a time from that point on. Go ahead, bro. Do your thing. I know you wanted to get that out of there. Do another one. Do another one, bro. Come on. You got to do one of these, bro. We're going to hear a lot of that against the Rams, baby. Yeah, we're going to hear that, bro. We're going to hear that. Hey, bro, I had fun with you, Eric. We got to do this more often. I understand you have a busy schedule, but let's talk after the show. What's your availability during the weeks when you are available? Let's do this, man. Let's talk Niner football. I enjoyed myself. I know my viewers enjoyed E-Man. Let everyone watching, let E-Man know how much you guys enjoyed him. Let's give E-Man applause for showing up today. I appreciate you, E-Man. I look forward to having you back, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me. It's great to just come in and talk about football.
Leslie, how you doing, Leslie? Good to see you, girl. Yeah, we definitely got to do it more often. Do one more, bro. Come on, get out of your system. There you go. There you go, bro.
That's not gonna happen.
No, but on our next podcast, we will have another one. I'll have Eric back. We'll be a little bit more prepared with his little gadgets. I'll help him download some other ones he can use or send them to you so you can upload them to your rollcasters. We both have the same rollcasters, so definitely do that for you, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it.
We have that in common. We have the same roadcaster, and we have the same individual that got us the roadcaster that we know. Because neither one of us can
Yeah.
afford it.
Just very, very grateful to have good people around us, man.
Yeah, yeah. Even though they're cynical in their way of thinking, but they're awesome people. I love this individual. He knows who he is. He's crazy in la cabeza when it comes to his thinking of 49ers, but love the man. Love him dearly. All right, Eric. It was fun. Everyone watching, thank you for joining the Niner Sickness podcast. Thank you for joining my guest, E-Man. We're going to go out on one last button over there. Go ahead and feel free to press it, and we'll see you on the next Niner podcast, everyone. There it is.